Hey church, it's Wednesday. We are excited for this week on the Daily Dose. Over the past couple days, we've been retracing the Holy Week. What that is we're just looking at the actions and the places that Jesus goes between Palm Sunday and ultimately his resurrection on Easter. Today, we're going to be looking at this last brat fry that he has, right? This is a moment where Jesus and his friends come together for this one last meal. Now, what you need to understand about this is one of the customary pieces of entering a home in this time period was the washing of feet. The reality is that their infrastructure didn't look like ours. And so the streets were filled with dust and all sorts of horrible stuff, right? They didn't have trash cans, so trash was in the road, and they had animals walking through the streets, right? So there was all sorts of nasty stuff on people's feet that needed to get washed off before they sat down to eat. And so usually in most homes, you'd have some sort of servant boy, or you'd have somebody that would sit with a wash basin and a towel that as you walked in, he'd wash your feet. He'd wash all the grime and the dirt and the dust from the road off of your feet so that your feet would be clean. Now Jesus, he was about to place an ultimate test onto his disciples. You can almost picture it for me. Jesus enters the room, and he enters early because he's Jesus, right? He's there on time, you know what I'm saying? And so he enters the room, and you can almost see him going up to this boy and saying, "We got it tonight. Why don't you just leave?" So Jesus sends this boy away, and he waits. And soon after this, the disciples begin to show up. John shows up, and then James the Less, right? And then Peter. All of these different disciples begin to show up, and you can almost picture it. Everyone walks in, they look at the towel, and then they walk to sit down. Kind of like when you were a kid walking past the dirty dishes that your mom probably wanted you to do. See, eventually, all the disciples arrive, and nobody has washed feet. And you can almost picture the tension in this room as Jesus gets up, goes over to the basin, grabs the towel, grabs the water, and he begins to wash his disciples' feet one by one. You can see the disciples' faces as they were shocked at the fact that their king was washing their feet. In fact, Peter begins to push back on this, and he's like, "Lord, don't wash just my feet, wash everything." But I want you to see what happens at the end of John 13, what Jesus says to his disciples after he finishes it all. Verse 12 says this: "When he finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. 'Do you understand what I've done for you?' he asked them. 'You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, you should also wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I've done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him.'" It's this incredible moment of sacrifice and servanthood, and it's an amazing foreshadowing. See, as Jesus bends down and he serves his disciples, he's foreshadowing the fact that in a couple days he's going to serve them with the moment of his death on the cross. That he's going to die for all of humanity and rise again so that we can be one with him. But you see, this also contains a command. It looks like this: love and serve one another. This is a non-negotiable command that Jesus places forth on his disciples. And spoiler alert, if you follow Jesus like me, this command falls to you as well. So here's the question I want to ask you. What have you been doing this week to serve other people? To take your inward focused mindset and put it on everybody else. Maybe this looks like this. We got Easter this Sunday. Maybe you need to invite somebody to Easter. You know, the greatest act of service is to invite someone to the saving grace of Jesus. So I challenge you, who are you serving? This has been the Daily Dose. Students, we'll see you tonight. The rest of you, we'll see you on Sunday. We love you.